CP and SJ here with you from Every Day We're Covering, and we're to the round of 32 in the NCAA tournament. We thought we'd throw a few little picks at you here for the weekend, maybe give you a couple of flyers on some plays to make as well here. We're underway with games on Saturday, but SJ and I were both kind of on the same page with all these games. So I'm going to run through the Saturday games for you real quick here as we start off in our picks. We're both going Iowa State, Arizona, Gonzaga, North Carolina, NC State, and Tennessee, along with Illinois and Oregon. And any of those games, SJ, that really stand out, or maybe a play you thought you kind of saw here from today?
That kind of seems to go. Obviously, this is dangerous, but it feels like a big chalk day today. We saw a lot of that until maybe Friday or so, and then also last night got real crazy. After hours, so to speak. But yeah, it'll probably go opposite. I know that Oregon, I guess, is a bit of an upset, but I do like the matchup that they have. Just and in the past, they've proven a tough out for Creighton, so I do like that one. Maybe go kind of heavy on that one, but other than that, I think it's going to be hard to go against the favorites in this one, at least straight up, which is kind of the bets we made. If you want to look at some of those numbers, I know I think Illinois had a pretty big number that you liked, and then also I believe North Carolina was a heavily bet number that is kind of giving people pause right there.
Yeah, I agree with that Oregon game. That's going to be an interesting one. And that might be one I think where some people maybe have changed their mind from the first round just because Oregon looks so good, I think, in that opening round. And yeah, maybe it's a good matchup for them. But yeah, I would really take a look if you're going to make a play today. That Illinois line right now is sitting at 10.5 as a favorite there for the Illini. They kind of took a while to get started the other day, and Duquesne's got some good players kind of across the floor. They're pretty athletic, so I think they keep that game close. That's one that I would probably play, even though I still think Illinois would probably pull it off at the end of the game, but that could be a really close, good one. Looking at Sunday now here with the matchups that we've got for tomorrow. We're just going to kind of, I guess, go game by game here. But first one starting off, I'm going to take Marquette to get the win against Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado did look good, especially in winning two games, but kind of might be the end of the road here. I just don't think the matchup favors them, and even just them getting in where they're at in the field, just kind of had to make that run late in the Pac-12 tournament out. They've done more than what was expected, and I think that's kind of where it ends with this game on tomorrow.
Then Purdue, I'm going to take the Boilermakers to get it done once again. They might have scared people for a little while, even yesterday, but that's just kind of how they play. It seems like taking on Utah State right now, laying 11.5 though, so maybe that's a number some people will take a peek at.
Yeah, I think they'll go ahead and cover though, even with that big number. It's seems like they whatever little bit of time they lacked in focus that didn't last too long, and they were able to kind of pull away easily. So I think maybe that lack of focus is out of their system now, and they're ready to kind of roll into the next round.
Next game on the schedule, this was a team that got a win done late there on a Friday night, and I'm going to stick with my guns. And I had James Madison get into the Sweet 16. I think they're going to pull it off and knock off Duke as well. But that could be a really fun game to watch.
Yeah, I would definitely not be surprised to see that. As far as the pick I'd make, I'll probably go ahead and take that 7.5. I'll give James. I think they can cover that and keep it close, and it might take a late rally or a buzzer beater even to hold them off there. But I think it will be a close game. But Duke could get it done, so that's why I'm not so hot just picking a straight out winner. But James Madison definitely will cover that number.
Baylor, a 4.5 point favorite over Clemson. Clemson did look good. I was surprised how well they played. New Mexico was one of those kind of darlings coming into the tournament for a lot of experts, but I think Baylor still gets it done. The way they're shooting the ball, they share it, got a lot of good guard play. I think they cover that 4.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at the total on this one. I do think Baylor wins. I'm not sure about covering that number. It's obviously possible. If they win, they're going to win by 5 points. So I guess if you think Baylor's going to win, take those points. But I'll look at that total too. That's something wherever you shop it around. But I think they might hit the overs. I know under's been pretty hitting pretty consistently, but that will be a game that maybe could buck that trend.
Alabama laying 5.5 against Grand Canyon. I think Alabama gets the win. I don't know. This could kind of be a fun game to watch. Grand Canyon's a pretty quick team, so this could be interesting. But the way Alabama was kind of dunking it all over the place the other day, they're looking pretty solid going into that game.
Yeah, another one that could perhaps get a total, but I'm not gonna be too I don't want to get too much of a consistency there with those picks. So I think Alabama will get the win. Look, depending on what the number is, I might take them straight up. Those 6 seems to be, either we're going to get a blowout or a close game, and most of these is what it's showing so far. So I don't know that Alabama can blow them out, but I guess if they win, that's the way they're going to do it.
Northwestern got to overtime to win to get out of the first round. Now they take on top seeded UConn, who looked every bit to the top seed. They were laying 14 and a half. So it is a pretty large number. But the way UConn's playing, I mean, I don't know if I would want that number to come down a little bit, I guess, if I'm going to play the actual line. But obviously on the money line, I think UConn wins this game pretty easily.
Yeah, I even think they can cover that number. Northwestern was kind of, I mean, basically sleepwalking until overtime. Then all of a sudden, they couldn't miss. So that's not exactly maybe the kind of performance you want heading into playing against the top overall seed. Or maybe not the what you want to put on the court there. But at the same time, you could look at it and say, oh, that can carry over that momentum of a big, kind of a thrilling win. So I guess depends on if you want to be positive or if you're a Northwestern fan, I guess that's what you'd look at. But I don't think they just don't have the horses, and most teams don't. So it's not a knock on Northwestern, but I think they can, even though it's a big number. I think it may be close, for a half or even into the second half, because just the way Northwestern plays, it's ugly. They're going to muck it up, but I think UConn can cover that.
Houston seemed to bounce back well in their game in the first round. They took care of business really well. Texas A&M obviously got hot, really shot the ball lights out in that opening round game. But Houston laying 9.5. I don't know. That's a pretty big number. I think that A&M will probably be able to keep this thing close enough. I still think Houston wins it, but that's a pretty big spread, I'm thinking.
The only reason I would pick them to cover is for the fact that A&M, I don't think they've shot like that all season, what they did in the last game. So for that to carry over, it'd be really hard for that to happen, especially against Houston. Looked like they hadn't missed a beat, and those last few games you kind of just forget about them and didn't affect them at all by the way they played in the first round. So that would be the only reason I'd go for that cover, is just because how well A&M shot, and on top of that, Houston look what we thought they would look like heading into the tournament.
Yeah, we'll see if that number moves at all. That'll be interesting. And then San Diego State laying 5.5 against Yale. This could be another fun one. Obviously, Yale, one of the darlings of the tournament here so far, and I'm sure a lot of people going to be behind them. I would give them a chance to cover that 5.5. It'd be interesting if that moves at all. I would think it probably moves a little bit down, so maybe you want to get it as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's the problem with this game is I could easily see Yale pulling another upset based upon San Diego State kind of eked one out, and they've kind of made a habit of that even when they've had some success. Is just ugly, maybe get a call here or there, make a late play or get a steal or something and they pull it out, but it's never been, an aesthetically pleasing type of team. So that's why I don't necessarily like that 5.5. The over under I'm seeing right now is 128.5. I'll take the under on that one. I think it's going to be maybe a bit of an ugly affair, but that doesn't mean that it can't still be exciting for the fact that you got two teams in there that, I mean, I know San Diego State was the higher seed, but a lot of people didn't pick either of them to win.
That's true. Should be a lot of fun to see how these games play out. Obviously, we'll get some surprises, I'm sure. That's what the tournament is all about. But a lot of fun to watch these. We hope you will watch them along with us here this weekend. Make sure you're following us on socials. At SJM Bets is SJ's handle there on Twitter. Mine's at Cherokee CP. We'll put those graphics up for you so you can follow along with our picks each day. We kind of give you just the winners of each games, and then we might throw out some other things that we see if the lines are changing. We see something that looks good that day and have some fun with it. Obviously, want you to listen to the pod. Every day we're covering, available in all platforms, including on YouTube. And check it out to Spotify also. A good home to find us there as well. So share with your friends, and we'll be back to talk a round of the Sweet 16 at CP and SJ with Every Day We're Covering.